Hello and welcome to the TMC Newsroom. My name is Rich Tehrani. Thanks for watching. We're at Interop 2011 in Las Vegas. On our program is David Link, the President and CEO of ScienceLogic. David, welcome.
Thanks, Rich. Thanks for having us again.
Our pleasure. So tell us what's new at your company.
We have a ton of things that we're announcing at the show. Most importantly, a new set of technologies to help customers manage distributed compute. So as you've known, this trend towards the cloud. But everybody still has their own infrastructure in the data center that still requires care and feeding. About 70% of IT operations budgets are maintaining what you have. But there's a constant pressure to say, is there a better, more cost-effective, more nimble, more scalable way to manage our computing requirements? And our customers told us, we really want to have a distributed view of compute and an understanding of how to manage that no matter where it is. So we announced some new capabilities at the show here that kind of dynamically maps what you have, not just in your data center with your virtualization infrastructure, but also in your cloud environments, but visualize it as one, because you've got to manage it as one.
And so what's the response been so far?
It's been terrific because this is a really complex problem. As people are transitioning from old to new, there's a lot of risk. The risk is the service expectations have never been higher. And one of the wonderful things about the cloud is that resiliency, that redundancy that's already embedded and baked into the solutions, which is really cool, but oftentimes you have to make that work with what you have in your data center as well, in kind of a hybrid environment. So giving a customer a way to manage that hybrid cloud and understand from a day two operations center perspective, how is that behaving at this moment in time so that I know that my service is being delivered properly, is a real challenge for the IT community. And so we're essentially creating the glue that connects that together.
Now, you spoke this week, actually Sunday you spoke here at Interop?
I did. I was on a cloud performance panel that, one of the challenges is there's a new set of kind of thought around what performance matters in the cloud and how does that differ from a traditional data center view of IT and systems management and application performance. So it was a great lively discussion because there isn't necessarily one way to solve the problem. It really depends on the application and the end user experience and how you blend that together to understand how services are being delivered. But one thing that we know is that as you look at the cloud, it's different from the traditional data center environment where you knew where that device was, where that application was. It's over here in that data center, in that rack. As things become more agile, it's moving, and it isn't always there. So that means from a performance perspective, you've got to look at all the components that make up that service to see how they're doing in aggregate, and those components could be in different data centers in different locations, and that's kind of a new set of challenges that we've been working hard on to help our customers and prospective customers manage through this transition.
Now, if you look at the cloud, are there any challenges that we haven't touched on that consumers or customers should be aware of, companies?
Yeah, I think there are. There's a whole set of challenges. The first is which applications are really a good fit to move to the cloud. A lot of people are building and taking applications they have in the data center that scale vertically and moving them to a cloud environment, but not really changing the elasticity of the application. And although that's a good first step, it's just step number one. Step number two is to kind of re-architect and rethink the application so that it can take advantage of some of this elastic scale of the cloud compute model. And that's going to be a 5 to 10 year journey for many of these data center apps. And some of them may never be a good fit to move and be rewritten for horizontal scale because they don't require it.
What's the first step, though, to doing that, to rewriting?
So I think creating a catalog of the applications that you have and then building a service profile for each one of those, who the constituents and the users are, and then through that, as you catalog what you have, then deciding which ones require horizontal scale or highly resilient systems that maybe you don't offer today, that are a really good fit to move.
Great. So what's next for your company?
Well, what's next? One of the things that we're really excited about, this is the 4th year that we've been managing the network of the show, and it's never been harder. You've been in Interop for 15 years or more. It's been going around. It's all about interoperability of technologies. So we have Cisco, we have Hewlett-Packard, we have open source solutions that are actually building the network. And of course, managing that is really hard to do because you have all these different vendors that are fighting with one another,
right,
and they respond in different ways. So we've learned a lot this week at how to navigate those ever-changing waters of running a network for 20,000 visitors, and the wireless, the booth network, and the terrestrial network that supports the show. Unfortunately, it's been going great for us. The product's working great, and some of this new component mapping that I've talked about that helps you understand these parent-child relationships of hypervisors and cloud and networks all converging together is a story that's resonating with the NOC guys because they're getting much better visibility into how everything's behaving.
That's great. Well, thanks for being on the program today.
Thanks for having me.